Hi, Mary. Surprise, surprise, surprise. You weren't expecting me to be here, were you? Well, I'm not really, but Terry suggested this video, and I thought that's the next best thing, so here we go. And they also wanted me to tell the true story of your life that most people don't know, and I'm here to tell the truth. So here we go. Mary was born on January the 10th, 1933, on a farm about 5 miles outside of Trimble, Tennessee, our little hometown. The house set back off the road on a small hill. It was surrounded by cotton fields and a big vegetable garden. She was the firstborn and a spoiled child of Drew and Tynesy Dodson, and they'd been waiting for 3 years for her birth. Mother's parents lived across the road on a farm also, and they had a big farmhouse with livestock, cotton, cornfields, and they even farmed with mules pulling the plows and the harvesters. Mother's family was loud, and they loved to joke around, and her 4 brothers were known around the county as being a little bit wild. They gave Mary a nickname right after she was born, Fart Blossom. And when anyone asked her name after she started talking, she proudly said, "My name's Fart Blossom." And that went on for, probably until she was about 25. No, but she was proud of that name. They also had a pet monkey, and they would dress that monkey up in overalls and plaid shirts, and they would ask different people in the family to babysit this monkey from time to time. So one time it was Mom and Dad's time to babysit the monkey. So Mother was hanging out clothes on the line, and Mary was just a toddler, so she put her down on a blanket and told the monkey to watch her. Well, he did, but he bit a plug out of Mary's leg, and I don't think PETA would be very happy with what Mother did to that monkey after that. And she sent it home, and they never babysat it again. Mary was about 5 years old when she decided she wanted a baby sister, just like the one she saw in the Sears and Roebuck catalog, this little baby in a jumper swing that was attached to the door frame. So she told Mama, "I want this baby right now." So Mother filled out an order blank. When Daddy came home, she says, "You got to go to the post office and order this baby for Mary." So he did, Mary on his hip. He walked into the postmaster and wink, wink. "We're ordering Mary a baby from Sears, so be sure and let us know when it comes in." Well, she waited and she waited and she waited. No baby. So finally Mother had to tell her, "Sears has run out of babies, so we're going to have to order one from Dr. Wright. He's the only one that has babies anymore." So then every time anybody had a baby in town, she was convinced that Dr. Wright had delivered her baby to the wrong family. Okay, I'm trying not to read this, but I'm kind of having to look at my notes too. Okay, thank goodness Mother finally got pregnant with me, and I was born in September of '39. I was Mary's baby doll. She dressed me, she fed me, she bathed me, she took me for rides in the stroller, and she dressed me so that everybody thought that I was the cutest thing in the world, and I was. That is, until she turned about 10 or 12, and she started noticing boys, and then I was just a nuisance. And of course, I should mention about the time that she tried to hatch a coconut, thinking it was an elephant egg, because that's what Mother told her it was. And she almost had a fit when she came home one day and saw Mother with that coconut trying to break it open with a hammer, because Mother was going to make a coconut cake, and she cried and cried because Mother was killing her baby elephant. Our mother did a lot of really strange things, and it's amazing that we turned out halfway sane, because she would send us upstairs, which was an enclosed stairwell, and she'd send us up there to get canning jars, and then she'd hide in the closet underneath and beat on the steps and say, "Rawhide and bloody bones are going to come to get you." And here we came flying down those steps side by side, 3 or 4 at a time. Mary was always a little headstrong, and our parents were really strict. We were not allowed to go to the movies on Sundays, play cards on Sundays, associate with any friends whose parents drank that nasty alcohol. And we had a curfew on being in the house at a certain time. This didn't sit very well with Mary. She'd slip out at night, push our car down our gravel driveway and out into the street and down the road and start it and take off and go visit her girlfriends. Sometimes she'd take me and sometimes she wouldn't. Most of our cousins lived out of state and would visit during the holidays and in the summers, and we'd sleep 3 or 4 to the bed, giggling, and in the Christmas time we'd try to catch Santa filling our stockings. One night we slipped out and crawled on our hands and knees on the porch and peep in the window, and the next morning when we got up, our stockings were filled with coal and switches, so we never tried that again. Mary was popular in high school. She played basketball, and she had a lot of friends. Her first job was selling tickets at the little Paula Theater in town, and this got her and all of her friends in free. She later worked at the factory, making poplin windbreaker type jackets. I think the pay was about 50 cents an hour. But she loved working there, and everybody loved her too, because it was all about fun. Shortly after graduating from high school, friends of our family invited her to travel to Texas with them to visit some family and friends. She saw this as a great opportunity to get out of Dodge. So she went with them, and one night, during the night, she got up, she went to the Greyhound bus station, bought a one-way ticket to Phoenix, and that's where she stayed for a while. No one knew where she was, because she didn't tell anyone where she was going, and she finally sent us a postcard saying that she was in Phoenix and she was working. Mom and Dad were really upset and scared for her, but then they also knew that she would make it on her own. She landed a job really soon when she got there, because she lied and told the person at this diner that she had waitressed before. Of course she had. And she pulled it off. She was now 18 years old. After a few months in Phoenix, she met her number one, or maybe her first husband, Eugene Triboulet. He was a handsome Latino, a smooth talker, a romantic type, and after a few months of dating, they went to Yuma and got married. They came back to Tennessee on their honeymoon, and my parents and I both fell in love with him, and so all was forgiven. They moved to La Habra, then Whittier, then Buena Park, and when I was 16, I spent my summer with him working with Gene in his Los Angeles department store. Mary would take me shopping, to the beach, out to dinner, and to party with her friends. Mary and Gene got married in 1952. Randy, her first son, was born in 1953, Rob in 54, Tina in 55, and Terry in 57. They were a beautiful family. Mary sewed dance costumes for the girls, and the boys were really active in the Scouts. And their street was filled with kids of all ages who loved to hang out and play with Mary and Jean and her kids, and their kids. Like many perfect marriages, though, this one didn't work out, and they got a divorce. Mary took many jobs as a waitress and made very good tips because all of her customers loved her sense of humor and her great serving skills. Now I'm skipping over a few years to 1972, when I was getting a divorce and living in Houston. I could not have survived without Mary. I called her and I said, I want to move back to California. Without batting an eye, she rented me a 3-bedroom apartment, had all the utilities installed, and she flew to Houston to help me pack and move to California. We rented a large moving van, hitched my Volkswagen onto the rear, and took off for California with my antique rocking chair tied to the top of the Volkswagen, wrapped in a homemade quilt. Now that's redneck, folks. That trip should have been made into a movie. We never stopped talking, singing, and laughing, and we both lost our voices before we got to California. We kept a journal that Mary still has, and we read it each time that we get together, and we laugh until snot runs out of our noses. In about 1973, Mary moved to Lake Isabella, and she worked in the local bowling alley as a bartender. She was in her element, and her house became a meeting place for friends from Anaheim to come up on weekends, enjoy the lake and the beautiful mountains. It was there she married Joe Weaver, and the fun began. They later moved to Bakersfield, California, and then on to Grants Pass. Joe passed away from cancer, and several friends suggested Mary go to grief counseling. They thought it would do her good. She resisted at first, but she finally went to grief counseling, and that's where she met Mr. Walter Burton, and the rest is history. Excuse me. Life goes on for all of us, but Mary and I stay in touch by phone, and we visit as often as we can. When we're together, it's one big laugh fest. I don't remember ever getting mad enough at each other to stop us from speaking or staying in touch. Now I'm going. My voice is going, just like when we were on our trip. I could go on and on, but I'll close with this. I love my big sister with all my heart, and I would do anything possible if she asked. She has a heart as big as Texas. She's stubborn as a mule. She's generous to a fault. She has a wit keener than any comedian that I've ever seen. She makes me laugh just thinking about her. I'm proud to be her sister, and she inspires me to be a better person. I couldn't make this trip to help her celebrate her birthday, but I'm there in...
Go. Yeah.
Happy birthday, my ass. Fart Blossom, Mary Alice Dodson, I love you more.